No, that's the wrong one. That's the wrong one.
I care for sound. I cared for the sound.
The sound's on. The Canera's talking shit behind this wonderful animation.
I was talking about Sirenscape, but
I was talking about Sirenscape.
You haven't got it yet, have you, Rich? Like, you just don't get it. He celebrates every time the stream goes wrong at the start. Yet every stream goes wrong at the start. That's
what we do.
It's part of the brand.
Never mind, Rich. Never mind. You'll learn one day, Kimo-sabi. Right, so
Sorry, I just really love the idea that like Sapphire wandered out of a copper forest like, yo, I'm going to Itsu, does anyone want anything?
Yeah! Out to hunt.
Exactly where he's gone.
Right. Let's do this again. Hopefully. Where's Lucy?
Take two.
Welcome to Everywhere Gaming. We play D&D. You've probably been here before. What shall we start with first? Let's mix it up. Social media. So if you want to follow us on Instagram, I know, Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook, just go to those things, follow the links in the chat, or just type it into the relevant search area, and you'll find us. Give us a follow, like, subscribe, whatever the terminology is. And I will probably be posting about what we're writing, what we're planning, when we're going live, etc., etc. Boom. If you want to come and join us in Discord, please do. We talk lots of nerdy stuff there, amongst other stuff that's not nerdy, but it's generally always leans back towards nerdy. We share all our art and our fan art and all the wonderful ideas we've got for other games and such. So yeah, if you fancy coming along, join it and we will talk to you, but only if you talk to us. YouTube, we've got a YouTube channel. There is thousands and millions of 47s, millions, hundreds of hours of story time on that thing, between the Fables Among Titans, the When Glory's Not Enough, the Vampire one-shots, the Tales of the Loop, the Masks, the other D&D stuff we've done. It's just rammed with stuff we've done for the last couple of years. So if you want to go catch up with stuff, you can go there and do that. I keep forgetting to mention this, but Fables Among Titans and When Glory's Not Enough is on Spotify and Anchor as a podcast. So if you want to catch up with either or both campaigns while you're driving to work, or you just find it easier through the medium of audio, please go to the Spotify links. Heavyweight RPG for When Glory's Not Enough, Heavyweight RPG Fables Among Titans. Go and listen to it and see how inconsistent my dungeon mastering is. They change hair colour, eye colour, personality. Last week they were a dragon, this week they're an elf. But yes, and see if you can spot the magical items that both parties keep walking past. Special prize for the winner. That's that stuff. Sponsors. Lucky Bottom Mats. They're amazing. They're brilliant. Exactly what it says on the... your DM, it is great. Cheers, Mebonics. PayPal's on its way. The Lucky Bottom Mats, if you go check them out, whether they're you can get their digital version, their real version is just giant books of mats, like A3, A4 and A5 I think they do. You flip them out, put them on your table, and you've got tundras and mountains and taverns and towns and castles and forests and magical ritual circles and lava rivers and all sorts. They are really good at what they do. They've done a sci-fi one instantly funded on Kickstarter. The towns and taverns are instantly funded. Castles instantly funded. The reason they get instantly funded is they're very good at what they do. And their most recent one, I believe they're doing a full adventure where you get all the maps for it, all the encounters, they've done a real cool adventure pack for this adventure they've created themselves. So I'm looking forward to that coming out. When it does come out, myself and Rich from Dice the Beholder will be putting together a little party and we're going to run through it. Just as a big shout out to Loki, but they don't know this yet. It's a big surprise.
Not anymore.
But yeah, we're going to do a big shout out to Lucky Battle Mats through that, so please check them out. Coyote Grey is an amazing little chibi artist. He does other artwork, bless, but I love his chibi tokens. Go to Roll20's marketplace, type in Coyote Grey. All the chibi packs are there. They're amazing. As soon as he releases one, I'm on it. I love them. There's hundreds of them. He's done a cyberpunk one. He's got a lot of fantasy ones out there. He's about to, assuming Roll20 approve it, to drop like a post-apocalyptic type pack. Super cool. I'll be on that straight away. And also, after a little conversation, if you lot have got ideas for he's doing his next set of packs are going to be, he's thinking mythology based. So has asked for potential ideas. So if you've got anything you want to shout out, please, send it on our Discord, on our Instagrams, on our wherever you're following us, or even here, shout it out. We'll make a note. And yeah, we'll pass it on.
Also, we did our artwork on the bottom left.
And okay, and if you look at the artwork in the bottom left, as pointed out by the Strawberry Girl, he did that, and the that's it from now on. And if you see the slide, the little picture slideshow just above the word Titans, they're all the personal character tribute tokens for this lot. So yeah, go check out Chaotic Great, amazing. Sunscape, not a sponsor, but will be after next weekend. So they do great, like, epic music and sound sets for, like, dragon breathing, orcs fighting, demons screaming their heads off, fantasy magical forest and storms kicking off and all sorts. They're really cool at what they do. If you sat around the table, you could play it at your PC, your laptop, your tablet, your phone, Bluetooth devices, etc. Really cool at what they do. If you play digitally, like we do, Fantonio, then they can download a web player app, and your players can just, whatever you play, it goes through the app, and they can turn it up and down as they see fit. Ashana is a wonderful human being and deserves more of the spotlight that this world has to give. If she's on later on, we'll be raiding her. If not, just go check her out on Instagram. Ashana is a really, really talented glass crafter. She's done loads of little miniatures, some like sea turtles and orca whales and such, but she also does like murlocs from World of Warcraft, or just little dragons and stuff like this. They're so cool and brilliant, and if you ever get opportunity to see her, or just sitting on her stream, same name, Ashana, then it's super zen and just a cool place to chill out if you're if you wanted to just chill out. So yeah, go check out Ashana. Roughworks Creative, the silent one, and the most beautiful of all my sponsors. I may
The
be
man, the myth, the legend.
The legend. I may be biased. But yeah, if you go off Facebook and check out Roughworks Creative, just look at the photo album and you'll see all the stuff he's done so far. He's a very, very talented woodworker and leather crafter, and never promotes himself, and should do so much more with his promotion. He's really cool. He's responsible for making the Dungeon Master screen that I will be bringing with me to UK Games Expo next weekend. Don't know what Sam's having a moment. So go check out Roughworks Creative. Absolutely just out of this world, talented, young. He's older than me, so. But yeah, just want to throw that in there. He might be better looking than me, lad, but I've still got a year on you. So yeah, come and check out his work at UK Games Expo. UK Games Expo. 9 days.
I was waiting for
9 days, kids.
No.
Right? That's right. Some of us are more excited than others.
No, it's months away, Adish.
It's only because it came up on the feed today, and I was like, oh,
it
no,
will.
okay.
So, UK Games Expo is from the 3rd to the 5th of June 2022 at the Birmingham NEC, and HWG will be there. Eddie and Eddie will be sharing the table with Bardic Inspiration UK, shouting about all things heavyweight RPG. Come say hi and have a natter. Monkey face! Find out more at the link. It's going to be amazing. You've got Bardic Inspiration, which is Ari, Kess, Luke and Mel, all 4 of them will be there. Come hang out with them, and I'm sure they will be more than happy for you to badger them about anything, really.
Ari would be great at selling dice.
Oh god, yeah.
Yeah, Ari might be selling something.
Vex might be there though.
Yeah, that is it.
Just saying.
So if you're wanting
Cosplay.
dice or dice jails or scented candles or dice bags, just come along, say hello to them, have a natter, get nerd on, and it'll be brilliant. And just to the side, breathing in as much as I can, there'll be me and Eduardo screaming in your face about Colossus. So yeah, come and join us. It'll be amazing. It'll be wonderful.
I'm doing your panel.
At 1 hour, for 1 hour even, 3:30 till 4:30, I'm going to say, in the Meeple room, I'll be stood there shouting, "This is how you build a world. You should do it too." So yeah, feel free to come and heckle, as this lot will also be doing. But yeah, that's good. We do have another con in August, but once this one's out of the way, we're going to start shouting about that more, and we'll start promoting GS Con more. But it's a really cool thing. Follow, if the link should pop up in chat, follow it. It's sponsored by Emrys in the bottom corner. If you want your 10% off your tickets, put Emrys 10 in there. Oh, it's got my face on this.
Please, I get commission on these tickets. I'm poor. Please help me live.
Okay, so the sales just. But yeah, if you
I
want
have
to,
2 children.
they're not yours. Stop stealing children. But you, if you want to come along and see myself and Emrys at the GSCon, please do. I'll be running D&D there for a few hours, a one shot for 8 to 10 people in our own little seminar room. So it'll be super cool. Jade will be there. You can.
Yeah, I'll be doing cosplay contest.
There you go. Judging
I'll be
it,
there. I just won't be doing anything
In fact,
constructive.
you're all
Yes.
there, right?
Yeah, we're
Yeah,
They're all
the rest
here.
of us are
They're
the
all
peanut
here.
gallery, and we'll be
Coconut
throwing
gallery.
things.
Yeah.
coconut gang.
Woo!
I was going to say coconut shy, but I don't want people throwing stuff at you. So,
Does that mean I can't enter the cosplay competition if you're judging it? That's not a conversation.
It just means you'll win, Ruby. That's all. So, if you want to buy stuff that our lot have written, our nerds have either drawn a wonderful, beautiful, geeky picture for, or created some subclass for 5e, or 80 spells because they're a lunatic, you can go to DM's Guild and get Tasha's Heavier Crockpot Bits and Bobs. 2 million copies sold. You could be the 2 million and first person. I mean, think about that. So go check it out. First major supplement by Extra G for DnD5e has been out for over a year, pushing 2 years. And Frank turned up. You went too fast. It scrolled down. Tasha's Heavier Crockpot Bits and Bobs, 81 pages of subclasses, spells, artwork, and everything TTRPG player wants! Exclamation mark. Less than $10, which translates roughly to £2.50. So don't Google that. Just buy it. While you're there, if you want to buy the second released source book. Heavyweight RPG have released their second source book. I literally just said it. On DM's Guild, Frank and Kenzie's Tradesfolk Compendium. A lot of the content in this book is a bit of a homage to small businesses and Easter eggs that you'll find relevant to our favourite sponsors, friends of the stream, and more. $12.95, same place, DM's Guild. Go buy it. It's amazing. Again, loads of our nerdy friends came together and created some really cool, geeky stuff for you lot to use in your own nerdy world. Bits?
Yeah, but we've still got 3 rerolls.
All right.
Yeah, but we
All right.
need
I've
more
got
now.
chat telling me. I've got players telling me. I got a weird text message off Anonymous threatening me.
Oh, sorry, that went on the wrong person.
So do yours instead. There you go. You can have yours.
No, look.
What have you done,
Just
Mel?
you had re-rolls for when you went on the trauma train. Look,
Yeah. These are all.
and
from-
you
We've
used
got
them all.
3 rerolls.
Yeah.
But also,
So,
yeah.
if you wish to donate 200 bits to this lot, they will get a reroll.
I can't even do the link right.
I'm going to say, is it not? Anyway. Right. They've already got 3 from last week because we were kind of cut short. It's not tipping up, Mel. Oh, there you go.
Still.
Do you feel sorry for the adventurers? Monkey face. Donate 200 bits /cheers to give the party a reroll. They can't be used on the DM or death saving throws. They don't roll over to the following week except this one time. And there's no longer a cap, so go nuts. If you've just been paid, or your mate's just been paid, or you've just got your university loan through, you know what I mean, or your mortgage, give it to this lot so they can roll dice again. If you want me to have a re-roll, give me 500 bits, and I will use them to make them fall off a cliff. So, as Monday, last night, I made Rich re-roll his eggs.
He did, yes. He did a goldfish moment.
So
yes.
I'll download and you can play it tomorrow, okay?
Not on my phone.
Why? It's not on your phone.
It's on the old phone. It's too big for that. You'd have to delete every game.
Okay, we'll have a look at it. We're having a meltdown on the internet. It's fine. It's fine. Jesus Christ.
Life choices.
I was tricked. She bent over, picked up that 50p, I was gone.
Thank you, Uli.
Thank you.
Cheers, Uli. You're up
Thank
to 4
you.
rerolls. Are we good? Are we going now? Is that it, Rika?
Looks like thank you.
Yeah. Luke, you've got 4 rerolls.
Yeah.
Right, let's
I
get
don't
some.
want to need them, but I like to know they're there if I
Let's
do.
get
They're
some,
my comfort re-rolls.
Let's get some music on. Is this working? Oh, there we go. Should be twinkly. I mean, it says lair of the siren, but we don't want it to be ominous. You know what I mean?
Too late.
It's cool.
Let me know if that's
struggling.
too loud, chat.
Still have no music, so.
Okay, I think that's coming through. It's coming through for me, so it's very atmospheric for me. If that helps.
And if you can't hear the music for some reason, then you can get it when you listen to it on Spotify or wherever else they're put on.
Yeah.
Ooh, there we go.
Luke's done this before.
Once or twice. Once or twice.
Right, let's. I am going to go through the whole thing again because.
Yeah, that would be appreciated. I've got notes, but they do look like they were scribbled by a crazy person.
Yeah.
Which is not strictly incorrect,
Well-
but...
I mean, so. What are you doing, child?
Putting this
Where are you putting it?
in the bag.
Off for school? Off? Are you taking it away with you? Okay.
I don't know which.
Dom's going on his own adventure tomorrow, aren't you, Dominic? He's going away for 5 weeks. Or is it 3 days?
3 days.
3 days. That's what I said.
You said 5 weeks.
It's just the way I pronounce it. You don't speak Yorkshire.
I definitely
No, you
not.
don't. You were born there.
Oh, it wasn't.
You were born in Leeds, mate, which is the capital of Yorkshire.
Uh,
Don't Google that.
I know it's not.
Right, let's get on with some siren stuff. Totally immersive. I've lost my notes.
Especially immersive because we're in a lake.
Whee!
Yay!
That was some deep comedy there. See what? No, okay.
Yeah,
Cast film.
No, I'm with you. Keep them going.
I know you would be, Roops. I've just realised and all that I can't call you Jeannie anymore. I got to call you Rubes, so I do
Right.
apologise whenever we meet. Guess.
I've been called worse.
Present.
Wishes he wasn't.
The last thing Kess remembers again is stepping through the tree just outside Ruby's home in the Toman Highlands, with the intention of arriving at the Copper Grove to see Toodles. I forgot one of my men and pieces names. Whilst you were in there, the magic, which you're used to just being a case of, oh look, a green druidic light, and here we are at our destination. But this time it's different. There is a slowness to it. You see Sapphire before you, but not the rest. And Sapphire is kind of held in a strange sort of stasis in front of you. The area around you is void and motionless. And then, as if a sharp blade cuts through this void, as if it were a curtain, and a slender arm reaches out, grabs Sapphire and pulls them through. Before you can react, all goes black, and you wake beneath the surface of a large body of water. You are in a hammock of sorts, suspended in the water. It's not attached to anything, but it still has that gentle sway of a hammock, with the movement of the water around you. There is a merfolk not far from you, assembling your backpack and weapons and armour, all very nice and neat on this stone table. Looking about the place you're in, it's kind of a cave that's just plonked in the middle of an area rather than part of a large body of stone or mountain or some such. And the entrance / exit to this like cave home is completely missing its wall. There's no door, it's just an openness into this body of water. Looking out across this body of water, you see hundreds of water creatures, water fae, general like just flora and fauna of beneath the surface of such a body. You do see the blues and greens, the whites, pinks, scale skins, smooth skins, translucent skins, fins, gills, full fishtails of the merfolk, tentacles for limbs or just for the legs, bulbous eyes, some have striking features. You can hear screeching voices, although they do not affect you in a way that they would affect a more of a material realm ear, such as a human. But there are also angelic harmonies that come through the waters. Some of these creatures are tiny, almost specks of fluttering pixies with fins rather than wings, skittering through the water. There are huge, larger than horses or large beasts that would walk on a farm, just travelling around in between what you now start to see. The architecture of the out in front of you, it's less a bed, like a riverbed or a seabed, and more deliberate. And the more you take it in, you see that there is a town of sorts around you. You are in the middle of this populace, and all these creatures and such are just going about their business. The merfolk has dark blue hair, golden eyes. Their skin is pale green, the palest from the forehead, and it goes darker and darker and darker till it hits the tip of the tail, where it is as dark as ivy green. Just again in that just awoken state. You don't really bolt upright or rush to reach for your sword or anything. You just come round slowly, and you see all this around you. Noticing that your weapons and armour and pack are on the stone table, you look at yourself and you realise that you are wearing a moonlight silver tunic with ivory green trim to it. Even though it's kind of got that float going on around you, it's not fitting, it's loose, but it feels well made and expensive. Maybe not in the realms of, Harry, but it's definitely a well-made, expensive tunic that you are wearing. Your hair is tied back in a ponytail with a silver strip. And the room you're in, or this like cave area, resembles one that reminds you of when you were in Big Jimmy's room. There is the area to sleep in is the hammock that you're in. There's just simple furniture in there, simplistic. The window is glassless and just is essentially a portal to outside this cave room. And the merfolk just kind of turns and smiles. Oh, you're awake.
Where am I?
Technically the Towan Highlands, but you're in the lock of the Lady Selena.
And you are...
Oh, my name is Bry, and she does a nod.
Okay. Hello, Bry. Why am I here?
It's quite
Because
difficult for me to explain, but Selena will be here soon. She'll be able to explain better. But well, we've been reaching out to you for a while, and it took some time for you to answer, and you answered not in the way we expected.
That's not Kess, that's
Yeah, I thought it might be.
Because someone else chuckled, Strawberry Lady.
That's right. Strawberries.
You going down to the bottom of the Zoom call, getting bit in the naughty corner. I should be in Ravenholm just now.
I don't know anything about that. Would you like some food or drink?
I just ate this morning. Why? Who changed? Why have I? And just kind of looks down. What's?
The magic ruined your garments and your armor and such. But I've repaired your armor, but your clothing was not in a fit state. So I saw it. I didn't want to have you sleeping naked if it wasn't something you were comfortable waking up. So I put a tunic upon you. I didn't look.
I don't. Some of that had been of sentimental value.
I still have the fabric. It's just not in a.
Thank you.
I mean, maybe you could, maybe yourself or find someone to make it more wearable. But it's just the fabric did not do well coming through the magical travel.
I'll take the fabric, please.
I mean, it's here, and you can see now, gesturing that there is a bundle of. They have literally kept, from what you can see, every single thing, almost inventoried on this stone table.
He'll kind of wander over to there and kind of almost kind of leaf through it, checking for the bits of tartan that had been gifted by obviously Ruby's family, the like years worth of like intricate embroidery work, things that he'd done himself, that had been done by other members of the clan, by parents and stuff like that, and added over time to like items that he'd carried since they first left Sarut, and just assessing the damage, seeing okay, what that can be taken from there, that can be added on to something else. Okay, this is completely beyond saving. This could maybe like we could pick that back up. That could assessing the damage.
And that's not far off what you see, to be fair. Anything solid seems okay. So if you had trinkets and such, they're fine. It's just material seems a bit tattered and torn. You don't see anything missing. But say you did an embroidery patch here, then it is a patch rather than part of a larger piece and such. So you can still find things. It's just, if you picked it up, it's not a shirt. If you picked it up, it's, that sort of thing.
If anything, the bits that have been reinforced by the needlework are probably held in chunks better than... Okay. He's a little bit calmed by years of work. Not.
I can say it wasn't deliberate. As I say, we didn't expect you to answer the way you did. So we weren't really prepared for you to arrive.
I'm not aware of what call I had or how I answered myself.
Bri looks at you, confused. Like the
And
words
now you know
they've
how I
used there.
feel.
Well, Lady Selena asked me to take you to her home once you were awake. She's been busy of late, but it is the gathering of the Kelpie after all, so we'll be expecting more to turn up.
Okay.
If you would, are you wanting to put your things on now, like your armour and pack? I can assure you they're quite safe there if you're happy to just... But there's no rush. If you wish to wear them, if you feel more comfortable with your weapons and such at your side.
I'll leave them where they are for now.
Okay. Well, if follow me, and they just kind of swim out the caved room, and assuming you follow.
Yeah.
So she turns her back and grabs the sword. You follow out, and you can now see that there are several of these cave rooms, and they kind of make up an area where there is... It's like a outdoor bar. Like, it's roofless. You're not shocked to see now, as you see most of the architecture that's been made either with the stonework around the place, or there is wood that seems to be just as perfectly formed as you've seen on land. Like, the water's not doing any damage to it, probably magically treated, or some such material beneath the waters that they're using for their craft. You see now that you were essentially in a inn/tavern area, and there's more of these rooms. Some are kind of like they sit on top of each other, and you are indeed underwater. There's no bubble that you're in. You are fully underwater. You follow in Bri. They float through. What again? You're taking everything in. You are a soldier after all. Like wherever your your original training was like through the deserts and stuff. You are still aware and still skilled at taking in your surroundings, looking for exits, looking for best places that someone would strike against you. Cat.
Just saw cat but just flying across.
Yeah. Just under the water, like bubble. Call it catfish. Sweet. You take in all those, and you're still on reaction more than anything else. Whee! Thank you. Woo, I'll be there when I can. No rush. Thank you, Sean. See you soon. And there are a lot of folk now that you can see that the water creatures and these water fae. I mean, you're very you see fae immediately. There's no glamour to yourself. You see them enjoying a drink or eating foods and such around these stone tables in this like open tavern area. You see what you can describe as a market stall, but it's more things are just floating around a few people, and they are trading, and there is merchantry going on. You notice other areas that are, I mean, there's not many blacksmiths down here, but you can see folk that are crafting things, whether it be jewellery of sorts or using the sea flora to create clothing and such, or braids that are going in folks' hair and that. It is not as colourful as beneath the surface of when you've been on the coast of the desert lands. It's a very different, body of water. It's very bright and colourful down in Surut and along the coast. Here it is, the water's darker and a bit murkier, but still has a freshness to it while you're here. And the colours are greys and greens and browns, and the odd brighter colours that you see, they're not as vibrant, but they still stand out in their own unique way. Following Bri through, you look around and looking up, and again trying to catch your bearings of what sort of body of water you're in. It is a very deep lake, essentially. You can see that it does stretch for a good distance, but it's not a sea. It is inland. Again, it's just going through your mind all these things that you've learned, taught yourself, been taught how to take in your environment, and you keep following Bri. They take you past. It's not really a stables. It's more of a pen, and you can see these large, soft. They're kind of like hippos with fins, but they're the size of a large dog, and they've got this permanent smirk on their face. And they're kind of, there's maybe a dozen of them just in this pen, and there's a few what reminds you of the red caps from the copper forest, but their hats are kind of, you can't tell if it's hair that's just pointed with small stonework on the end instead of a bell, or it's an actual hat. And they have the iron boots on, similar to the red caps of the copper forest, and it kind of keeps them weighted down on the bed. And every now and then they'll, you assume, curse as a lot of bubbles come flying out their mouth as they're tending to these small, plump hippo creatures. But they seem to be more. You can see people coming and leaving them with them, and then coming away, almost like a pet sort of creche area. Going past that, Bri takes you now to you can see where the stonework is. It is a pathway, and the more you follow this path, and you start seeing shapes to the stonework around you, that's just part of, or what you first thought was part of just the bed of this loch, but they've actually been shaped into humanoid shapes, or there's one shaped like Bri themselves, and you can see the merfolk sort of style. There's somewhere the smaller rocks, someone has sculpted like a school of fish just into the rock area, and you can see now that you're swimming / walking along this walkway with all these decorative statues and busts that have been made from. Every now and then you'll catch one that has been made and brought there next to something that was just part of the environment and been brought to life, as it were, through the arts. It does remind you of certain places in Ravenholm when you were approaching some of the grander buildings or grander houses, and they had like a decorative lead up, a bit of grandeur about it, but it's got a simplicity to it and a well, that's it. It's got a simplicity to it rather than the ego that you saw in some of the sculptings and stuff of Ravenholm. It bends really far round to the left naturally. Bry every now and then looks behind just to check you've not done one, or or wishing to ask a question, or their attention is on yourself if you require it. And as they continue to swim, and it, like I say, it bends really far onto the left. And as it's doing so, the stonework and the rock of the bed of the lock goes higher and higher and higher, as if you were turning around a cliff face. And it kind of blocks the town behind you. And as it comes around the block, you see before you a castle. It is, if you were to take all the water out of this lock, Jesus, it would be, and someone asked you what you were looking at, you would say, I saw a castle on top of a hill. It was surrounded by mountains. There's so much rock and natural earth to wherever the section of this lock is, and this castle has been brought out of it. It is as if they've dug all the way behind it to create and just got rid of all the top. This also has a roof. You can imagine quite easily, being a fae creature, that any human or any person of non-fae would tell stories of a sunken castle if they were to look down into this lock and see this. But from what you're looking at, it wasn't sunk, it was made beneath the waters. But what you do see in some of the windows and just beyond in the courtyard, as you see this castle beneath the lock, is bubbles, very, very large bubbles. And even from here, you can imagine they are air bubbles, and they're like domes of maybe 15 feet across, radius. Just in like one in the courtyard. You can see one on the balcony higher up. You can see the tip of one on the top of this castle. It looks more like a castle home than a castle fort, if that makes sense. Coming where you are, there is a long bridge as you turn around to the left, and it starts getting a bit more open and less of a path. You can see a long bridge just ahead of you, and it must go 60, 70 feet over a moat that's not there, to the main castle wall. There is no gate on the castle wall, but where you look where this moat would be, it's just a channel of stone. Again, if you were to take all the water out of the lock, you can imagine this is very much a picturesque. You've probably seen artwork of folks drawing such castles from different lands, and
There's 100% a picture of a castle somewhere that they've been on Ravenholm that's like, oh, it's a fucking castle.
I've seen that. I've fucking seen
Yep.
that. Give me a perception check as you approach the bridge.
Rolling some dice.
I'm going to assume you follow Bry until you tell me otherwise.
Yeah.
So monologues will continue until you go, stop! Flying headbutt.
That is 21.
Ooh. As you get to the foot of the bridge, and again you can see that the bridge itself has also been cut from one piece. It's not it's not made like you've seen before, where it's sections of large stone put together and stuff like this. It is one piece, which you can imagine is far easier to do underwater than on land. However, looking around now and seeing like the back, like behind the castle, where this cliff face stretches up beyond its height, and it falls into place that they've cut this castle, as I say, from whatever existence of stone there was whenever this was created. You see trees. You see trees carved into the stonework. So at a glance, it looks like a forest behind the castle, but it's not. It's the way they've essentially graffitied the stone behind the castle. They've carved certain chunks out, and it's got that that 3D look where you it's flat if you look at it one way, but when you turn, it looks like a forest of stone trees, as it were, stretching for miles behind. Again, adding to the image of this castle on this mountain side with a bridge across it. There is a flag just bobbling away in the water, giving the image that wind would be blowing it. There's probably a small enchantment on it. There is a serpent coiled on this flag. For you, you're from the desert lands, so there are such creatures in the seas, so it is believed, not that you've ever seen one yourself, known as like leviathans and sea serpents. They are the when children speak of them, they call them water dragons and such, but they are massive sea creatures of a serpentine bloodline. And there is a very large purple, violet-y coloured one on this flag. Even though the creature itself has a purple coloration to it, its eyes of the same purple stand out far more than any other part of this serpentine creature on this flag. Nothing else takes a spot on the flag. The background is a greyish silver, and you just see this purple leviathan and these two bright violet-esque eyes just shining at the banner of whatever this castle is. You won't... Give me a history check.
It's not gonna be good.
You've got 17 reroll.
I might
We'll
use
hold
one
you
of
to that
them.
number.
Yeah.
That's healthier. That is a 15.
Okay.
That's one reroll down.
You have no idea why, but you'll recognise it.
Does it bear any resemblance to anything on the the crest that his mother gave him?
Yes.
Cool.
Bryce stopped, seeing that you kind of taking in the area and stuff and looking, and you stare for a bit longer than normal at the flag and recognise it and make the connection of that. Are you okay, Kesfion?
Yes. We'll carry on. We should get to the bottom of this.
Okay. Yes. And they start to swim over the bridge. Again, it's a long 60-70 foot bridge that, you know, brings you to a large castle home with walls, the open courtyard. As I said, there's no gate, there's no portcullis in the entrance through the wall, and swimming beneath that gate, and you kind of like look up and stuff. You see more symbology or iconography in the stonework of this serpentine creature, this leviathan of sorts. And again, reminiscence to some of the tribes, if they embrace the scorpion as a totem of their tribe, you know, they wear like iconography. Ravenholm's got certain creatures, you know, it's not new to you, and you see that that's the same thing that's going on here. That this castle is definitely represented by some sort of large leviathan. Going into the courtyard, it ticks the stereotypical boxes. It is medieval's probably a strong, inaccurate description, but it's as close as I've got.
It looked like a castle.
It looked like a castle, yo. If you nip across to Edinburgh, so
I've seen one or two castles in my time.
oh no, but yeah, you go in
Usually
there.
they're above the loch, not
Well,
at the bottom of
welcome
it, but
to
you know what?
Colossus.
We like a bit of a change.
It's alright, all the corals on land. So, but yeah, and you come into the courtyard, and you can see now that this grand castle home ahead of you, the large wooden door that would lead into, you assume, a hallway or a meeting hall or some such. Looking to your left and right, you can see there is space in this the main, like the outer of the castle home, essentially the garden. There is what would be a stables, but clearly unnecessary where it is. You can see a forge, an empty, not burning forge, and you do see a snapshot of what some castles you've seen in Ravenholm or places that, and it fits that of a land, a landmark rather than a beneath the watermark. We'll move on.
Knew what you meant.
Yeah.
Knew what you meant.
Oh, I said, what did I say last night? Geographicalness instead of terrain and landscape. So you'll just have to bear with me. In here, though, there are people. There are other water fae and water creatures. All along the way, like, there's been fish swimming around and stuff, and there's been a curiosity where they'll swim towards you, and as soon as you kind of turn to see what's swimming towards you, it fucking fucks off again. And you see a couple of those hippo-like creatures with the fins kind of running around as you would dogs and such in a yard, and you can see some young water fae, and that most of the fae in these castle grounds fit your description in that they are of a humanoid nature. They have the striking features of the summer fae, the winter fae, the water fae, the spring fae. They are humanoid folk rather than monsters that people describe sometimes. And there is a community in here. They are doing things that you'd expect to see folk doing in everyday life. Some seem to be, again, preparing similar things that you saw in the market stall. People are preparing some of the lock flora for materials, and they're on looms and such. People are like herding these water hippo creatures around, and there is just a general life going on here. It's surreal, maybe, but it is definitely happening around you. Stood on the door in a guarded position is somebody in full, quite literally, scale mail. Like it is a lot of scale mail tends to be with leather, with bits of metal in and around it. This is full on metallic scale mail, and does give the effect of armoured fish, as it were. But yeah, and they are again humanoid. The scale mail goes over the head and down and gives like the coif instead of chain, but it's obviously the scale mail. It's got the same colouring, the silver moonlight colouring of the tunic you're wearing, but also you can see the Leviathan iconography on the tabard that they're wearing, and it kind of just fits to them and such.
The Leviathan iconography, like you're saying, when you're saying it's similar to the stuff on the crest, is it like a...
It's just... it reminds you of it.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
I was trying to get into my head if it was like right, this is... Like, how if you'd be like, yes, this is like an Art Deco take on a picture of a snake, or this is just a picture of a snake, and that's also a picture of a snake. Like, I was trying to work out if
it reminds you of it.
Of the style was similar, or if it was just the animal.
It definitely.
Or
you do
uncannily
feel
in the middle.
Yeah, it's uncannily in the middle.
Okay, cool.
For reasons, but yeah, you are aware that it is definitely uncannily in the middle, and you see the guard on the front. Again, they have similar features to yourself in that they are, humanoid, and they have that striking look that, again, you are aware that Fey glamour obviously enhances features to make them appeasing to whoever they may be luring to their death, as it were, or just having a beer with. And they nod at both Bry, and as you approach, they react awkwardly, look at Bry nods, and then they nod at you as well. But the way they nod at you is the way that you'd maybe... Saluting's not really a thing in the desert, but the way you would acknowledge Sahar's rank. Even though, you know what I mean? Just that respect your one who's a little bit further up the notch than yourself, because it's not really a thing in the tribes, but you are aware of Sahar's experience, so you would nod as a young recruit training in the ways. This is how this guard reacts to your presence. The same way you'd give Sahar a nod, they kind of give you a nod. And you see Bry smile broadly, fang teeth just shining. And the door just opens. It would creak, but you're underwater. While we're here, Lady Selena is waiting for you. I can show you where she is, and then, well, I'll leave you be, and maybe you can get answers from Selena that you couldn't from me.
Thank you.
In we go, and they swim in. As you swim in and the door closes, you take oxygen in as you realise that there is a large dome air bubble in this main area where it is definitely where someone would meet the leader of the land, before, and they present problems and questions and such, and delegates from wherever would come, and this would be where they first meet. They come through this main hallway, and then it opens up into the larger area where they would present to whoever is sat on the large chair at the other end of this chamber. There are doors that go left and right with they're doorways, that go left and right, no actual doors in them, and you can see that they pan out into other areas, and just beyond, on both left and right, there's a staircase, but you can see that they're in water. The bubble stops and just covers this area where delegates would turn up, etc. This way, and Bry swims off to the right. Swimming off to the right, again, there are banners of the iconography in this large Leviathan just sat on these banners. In the air bubble of this chamber, the banners are more relaxed and natural, and they don't have the water like swish. And there are several of them along the large stone pillars of this castle home. You go off to the right, and there is a staircase, and it is wide enough for maybe three of yourself to stand next to one another abreast and walk up the stairs. There's no carpet or anything, but you're back in the water now. As soon as you pass the doorway portal, you're back into the water. You swim up the stairs / walk. At the top of them there's a balcony, and you turn around to see where you've just walked, and from the staircase at the top there is it is an indoor balcony, and when you turn around and look, there's actually, imagine a stained glass window on the wall, like the entirety of a wall, full on like church-esque, but there's no glass. There's actually, how do I describe this? When you look at the image, you can see the colours of reds and greens and blues, and it is a Towan Highland landscape. And instead of glass, there is a coloured ink in each section that doesn't flow outside. So if that's the section, there'll be red in this section. Yeah. But there's no actual, the leading or anything to give it its shape or anything, or glass. It's as if just ink floats in the right area to give this landscape of the Towan Highlands. For a very brief moment, it is beautiful, if I do say so myself. But and then just behind you is a large double doors. This is Lady Selena's personal quarters, not a sleeping area, but where she meets delegates and such for quieter conversations. But and Brian knocks on the door. Enter when you feel comfortable to do so, Guestfield. I'll be in the hall. I'm not a fan of the oxygen, the air breathing areas, but I won't be far. If you need anything, just please call.
Thank you for your assistance so far.
Not a problem. Anytime. It's hopefully you get the answers you need, and we can maybe share a bite to eat and catch up ourselves. But until then, I'll be downstairs.
Okay.
And Bri just swims down to the bottom, and you see more. You notice this time, whereas the first time less, because you were just kind of taking in the area, that as Bri enters where the air bubble is, her long fishtail becomes legs, and she has a long green dress, the same colour of her scales. And then obviously when she walks into the water, it then becomes the tail again. After the knock on the door just cracks open. One of the doors, big double doors, just one of them opens enough that you could, put your hand in and enter, if you so wish.
Bolts it! Right up it, water! Fuck this noise! No.
That'd be brilliant. What do? I'll swim the fuck away. No glass, you say? Gone.
Will have to catch me first.
Big Jimmy's
No.
like, what are you doing here?
No, I think he'll just kind of like take a couple of beats just to be like. I think the interaction with the guards was odd. This entire thing is. He could not be, like, to say, out of his depth. He could, he's like, what, the level of what the absolute fuck is going on has reached strange, and like for some reason this seems more weird than appearing on the plane of the air elementals, because at least that was the middle of a battle and wasn't people being like, hey, yeah, sure, hey, we've been trying to get in touch, missed you, but now you're here. And he's at least Ernie knows how to respond to the situation. Hit it, keep hitting it until it stops hitting you back, whereas this, he's just like, the folk that usually do the talking
They're not here.
are not there.
Many, many miles away.
Some may say on a different end of the continent, even.
Continents.
So a couple of seconds just to go, okay, we don't need to keep a straight face for a couple of seconds, and then, okay, let's go pretend we understand what is happening to us right now, because he knows there was no point in bringing weapons to this point, because if he was going to be in that kind of danger, there's more of them than there is of him.
They probably would have took your swords off you.
Yeah. That was kind of a losing battle that wasn't worth starting. So we'll have kind of do a sort of almost attempt to kind of straighten everything out and through the door. Fake it till you make it.
As you step through the door, it is no surprise in the way the room is laid out when you see that it fits the aesthetic of the rest of this castle home and what you've seen so far. What is interesting, or at least to me, is the same style of sculpting that gave the large forest effect behind the castle home, stretching out behind it, is the same on the walls here. It is less vast and more delicate, and it gives the room a grove sort of look. The way the walls, as soon as you step in, have it's not as dense and thick as the trees that are carved into the massive cliff face behind the castle itself. But it does give an element of a even though the room's got a square, rectangular-ish shape to it, it feels like it's curved the way the trees are carved, and there are images of forest creatures like sat in the trees or around the base of the trees, not moving. They're just part of the artwork, as it were. But it does look like you are in a stone grove, as it were, with all
If you
these
say
trees
stone
around you.
squirrels, I am leaving this
I
in
said
cold.
creatures of the forest. That's all I said. They ain't moving. It's not an house brick
There
with
are
googly
many stone
eyes.
squirrels.
It's like 6 campaigns they've appeared in, and nobody has found out what they are.
I don't want to know at this point. It's more fun not.
They are the big bats. So, in the centre, again, it's probably a trick of the eye the way it's carved. It looks like the low stone table, as if this large piece of stone is just resting on several stone legs, is in the middle. But again, you're perceptive enough to see the trick of the eye, and it is actually towards the back of the room. Behind it, on their knees, or like sat on their legs, if you know what I mean. I don't know how to describe that. They're
No,
knelt,
I follow you.
it's because I can't do it myself, so it's alien to me. You see, for a very brief second,
Changing the screen.
yeah,
Just bringing up roll 20 real quick.
yeah. Oh, that's a big Leviathan. For a very brief second, you see yourself opposite you, knelt down on the other side of this table. The green hair, the eyes of silver, the chin, the nose, the cheekbones, your build, even though yours is, probably got a bit more physicality to the one before you of, your days in the desert and the fact that you fight a lot. Whereas the fair creature in front of you has a more slender look to their build, and it's only after that notice that they're not exactly like you that you do realise that there is differences, that the silver of their eyes is a little bit more towards grey, whereas yours is more towards silver. The darkness of their green is more, the darker leaves of a holly bush, where yours is probably the lighter leaves of a holly bush. And you do see that there is, again, a lot of similarities between yourselves. However, you do notice that this is a different person and not some weird ass echo mirror magic going on, which I did think about. They're wearing the same moonlight silver tunic that you are, but there's more of it, like a layered robe. Sat just on their chest, there is a purple gemstone in an amulet. Just sat there. You are in water in this room. It is not a air pocket. And as they stare at you, they look at you like your mother used to. They recognise you. They are overjoyed in their expression of seeing you, and a single tear rolls down their left cheek. They then stand, and as they speak, you hear immediately the voice of a siren that you would recognise in any place in the world because of the magic sirens use in their enchantment. It doesn't even remotely affect you, but you recognise it, that it is raw and it comes out in reaction. Like if you were to swing a wild punch, or there's a difference between just swinging wildly and concentrating and throwing an accurate punch. This is wild. The voice comes out. They adjust themselves, almost falling forwards. There's clearly they miss a breath, and then they just adjust themselves and they stand. And you can now see that this moonlight silver robe is indeed that. It is layered and sits around them. There is a hood that goes back over the side, and the same ivy green trim that's on the tunic you're wearing follows many of the different folds and such of this robe. It actually reminds you of similar to what Stefan or Darius were wearing back in Ravenholm. And they adjust themselves again, and they stand, and they just wipe the tear away. Kess? before you respond, back in the Copper Grove. For
Hope you're all paying attention, fuckers!
No. Back to Kelpie Lake. Back to Kelpie Lake. We're not interested. Back to Kelpie Lake.
The brittleness in Luke's smile when you said back to the forest, I was like, oh, I'm glad I'm not in the same city as him.
So, Sapphire is
Soon.
meditating. Let's go with that. Yourselves, you were sleeping, weren't you? You were getting ready. You were having your long rest ready for the morning, and then we skipped back for Kesfield, correct?
We were just lying down and we heard Toodles talking to our Lord Credit Card.
Lord Romerick.
Oh yes,
Just
Romerick.
outside.
Yes.
Lord Credit Card.
I mean,
I'm sorry, but
kinda-
since Jade's little spending spree, I always remember that before his actual name.
Lord Credit Card.
That's why we get
I
Fantonio,
don't-
and not his actual name of Necronite.
But you told me he was a fantasy Antonio Banderas, and if you don't expect a portmanteau from that, I can't help you.
It's you. It's you, Rubes. It's always going to be.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly what they were saying, but I think
All we heard was two voices outside Toodles and Lord Romerick of the House of Ravens.
Yeah,
I didn't hear anything.
You didn't hear what the words were.
No.
Okay.
However, what do you plan to do with that information? Are you just leaving them be? Are you interrupting? Are you earwigging? What's the plan?
Ruby will probably just shuffle to the door, stick her head out, and just go, Geddin's back. He said to let you know he's back. You know where he sleeps. Night.
Thank you, Ruby. Romerick just misses the chance to wave. A little bit slower on the reflexes. Like, who are you just talking to? And then,
It's totally earwigging.
yeah, I thought, go on then, give me a perception check. It'll be a disadvantage if you remain in the cabin.
Weighing up the options, inside or outside. Should I just
Get me fishing rod out.
Should I just brazen balls open the door and go, hello, I want to be part of this conversation?
That is
No,
the
he's gonna stay in
best
the
Harry
cabin.
impression
Before you
I've
go
ever.
outside, remember the mimics, the dangerous
Oh, they all still look like Sapphire. You lot are safe.
No, he's staying inside, but that's still a 14.
Has he
14.
got a glass to the door?
It's a cup with a string on it. He's trying to throw the other one at them.
Let me. What did you say? Perception. Perception?
Yeah, with disadvantage.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's not bad. 16.
Okay. So as Harry puts their ear to the door, Sandra discussed. Puts their ear to the door.
Whatever.
You there? What'd you get? 14 and 16.
Yeah.
In a rat, you hear the knife being mentioned. The fair knife. The pillars are mentioned, and the spirits of the fair is mentioned. But you don't get any of the connecting dots on those rolls.
So nothing we didn't already know. Fantastic.
Should we just go and talk to them?
We could do. We did kind of leave Lord Romerick unaware of our leaving. So
Feel
we
a bit
might want to at least. Let's just go.
Are you going out to talk to him?
Yeah.
Okay. You open the door, you go over, and Toodles and Lord Romerick are sat on chairs that you never saw in this grove before.
Just magic chairs.
But knowing Toodles, she probably grew 'em. So, as you approach, Romerick stands immediately, gives a long bow to Xandria, and a half bow to to Ari. Lady Summerbreeze, it has been a while. How are you? Are you well?
I am managing, Lord Romerick. And yourself?
Tired but managing. Admin is far safer.
I do not doubt that for a second.
As you look, Toodles gestures with their hand, and 2 more chairs grow from the ground. Are you joining us?
Yes, if you would not mind our apologies. We
had your ears to the door.
Yes, we had our ears to the door. There is no point in sugarcoating it. We were merely intrigued to hear what you were talking about. And when we heard mentions of the blood pillars and the dagger, and of course the face spirits, we just thought it might be worth having this conversation.
Understandable. Well, Lord Romerick, if you wish to tell him what you told me, yes, and he'll sit down again, and you can see, bless him, he can't wait for retirement. He sat here in front of the arch.
And he was one day from retirement before all
of
this kicked
you
off.
lot turned up.
And
he'll sit down, and he does hold his usual posture and that. And even though he is a noble, he's considered a noble of the people, if there is such a thing. Well, I was just informing the Jesuit, and Toodles nods, of what is going on so far. And we spoke of the Order of Pale, the fiends that currently reside in the province of the Eagles. There is all-out battling and war going on. The province is, the land will never be the same again, but our military forces from all the provinces are currently there. There was a lot of magical transportation put into place. It has been, several days since I last spoke with yourselves, but the joys of teleportation circles and knowing our lands better than most, and I hate to say it, but the absence of your realm, and gestures towards Xandria and Toodles, makes travelling through the forests far easier. The king's debt, as it were, has been refused, as we talked about before, and he kind of says we and looks around. And so the blood is running in rivers, as it were. The plan is to push them back, or at least make a hole in their forces large enough that we can get to the wall and perform the soul-binding ritual of Ulrich and Reinhardt and reinforce the wall again. We don't believe that will immediately cast the demons out, but we do think it will give us an advantage nonetheless. What we have been doing is the 5 pillars that Corbin introduced during the battle with the Copper Forest. He won't remove them, and so we've looked into them, and a few of my people have been working with the Jesuits' young copper lances. Toodles nods again. They are siphoning the realm. They weren't there at first. We thought they had been implemented by Corbin to destroy the realm. It is not so. We have discovered they are suppressing the realm and siphoning the magic of your people. Again, gestures to Toodles and Xandria. And it is believed that Corbin is taking that siphoned essence, the spirits of the fair folk, and using them to empower not only himself, but those around him of a loyalty that is dangerous. And so there has been a decree released across Ravenholm for Corbin's arrest. but he, well, not surprisingly, he found out and headed west on one of the, on the flagship of the House of Tor. I can tell you now, Lord Vincent, corrects himself, is not happy that Corbin has betrayed him and stolen. They're quite prideful, is Vincent and his wife, but having something stolen from them from what they deemed one of their own, so there is a lot of anger towards Corbin. However, these pillars are damaging not only to this, well, they are damaging to Colossus, to the land of Ravenholm, to the realm. And Toodles kind of, just in case, we have confirmed through Gideon and the scholars that Lord Romerick has provided that just the destruction of the pillars would not immediately allow the Copper Forest to return. It is gone. It is how it will be now. And they gesture, to the forest that, you know, Ruby/Fae/humans are creating all around you. Ruby gets her own little category. But we hope that if we can destroy them or sever this link that Corbin has made towards these pillars, or however his magic is working around them, that the spirits of the Fae that are trapped within will be free to be just as mischievous in the new forest as they were the original. And there's a little bit of a smirk, and you see the red fur of her cheeks just kind of like go up as she kind of goes from smirk to grin. Yes, Jesuit, exactly that. If we can return the spirits of the Fae back to their homes, great. More so if we can remove Corbin from this equation, whether it be remove his life, remove his connection, but all of Ravenholm, or at least publicly all of Ravenholm, wishes for Corbin to be, and then quotes, arrested. But he does have loyalists, as otherwise the war would have not have gone the way it did. But he is a far more dangerous adversary than we first anticipated. I am aware there are those that have requested aid to outside sources to remove Corbin in the way they see fit. The House of Falcons will give aid as much as they can to those outside sources. But the majority of Ravenholm's forces are, as you can expect, dealing with this fiendish force within the lands of the Eagle, and gestures towards Harry. And the knife, we believe, will be an integral component into breaking, destroying these pillars, severing the link. I am unaware of the terminology wizards use for their magics, but the knife and what it can do, it is of ancient and eldritch power to do with your people. Nods again to Xandria and Toodles. And the Jesuit here agrees that it could definitely be useful in at least aiding in the resolution of this problem. There is a history between our people that will take several more histories to even come close to be not as violent and bloodsheddy as it was before, and it may never be so. However, speaking as the stewards of Ravenholm and the House of the Falcons, and with Jesuit's blessing, we will give you we will give these outside sources whatever resource they need. And my funds are, looks at Xandria, vast. Nice armour, by the way. And that is what we were talking about.
Thank you, Lord Romerick. That was quite the debrief on everything that has been going on here.
You're very welcome, Lady Summerbreeze.
Whilst this has been happening here, we have been on quite the adventure to some other continents, and it seems that the Order of the Pale and the Vibrant are not just an issue that belong here. It seems there are
How so?
plans in motions across various continents. The Vey Dynasty, one of the monasteries, the temples that our companion Sapphire lived in, trained in, has been all but destroyed. An absolute massacre. And down in the deserts of Sarut, my home, there are issues there as well.
As much as he tries to hide it, you notice his shoulders slump a little bit. One day to retirement. And Toodles puts a... I mean, Toodles is a 7-foot satire. Makes poor Romerick look like a very small old man. And just puts a hand on his shoulder, noticing, as you guys noticed, the shoulder slump. Thank you for the update, Xandria. And yes, Romerick, as Xandria says, you know, there are issues elsewhere, but don't worry, as you will offer us resource, you and your people are always welcome around my people. And there's a bit of a moment between Romerick and Toodles. Well, assuming we can deal with the fiends that are here, I will send emissaries. In fact, we can send emissaries through magical means. We don't have to send them by horseback. But I will reach out to those of... where is it Sapphire, the Leonel you travel with?
Mm-hmm.
Where is his home and temple?
Forgive me, it's been quite the adventure.
Toodles
I know
goes,
it isn't
Sapphire?
I
So
know it
sat
isn't a bit-
to the left, meditating. Where are you from? The Vey Dynasty.
Did not wish to disturb him.
Say.
I know it's the Vey Dynasty, but
Well, that's all.
specifically.
That's all he's after.
I don't know.
I will reach out to the Vey Dynasty. Send emissaries. Emissaries.
There you go, he's in chat, shouting at us.
Originally Viconia, but then
Yeah.
got his first 2 levels on the tundras of... So, and I will also reach out... Sarut is vast. I will reach out to all 6 provinces and try and get a word as best I can. I will reach out as much as I can and try to gather information.
Thank you. I believe Sarut will be marginally better off than the Vey Dynasty at the moment.
Ruby has been kind of lurking in the doorway. She doesn't really desire to converse with any member of the Sovereign Rabe literally ever again, but while he's making offers, she, without any kind of politeness or offer of nicety, goes, and you can ask Toa why the gnomes are leaving the woods, and then just goes back into the cabin.
You see, Robert? Yes. I will send emissaries to Toa regarding the gnomes and the woods. I am sure it is connected. Well, it is late, and I am old. And Toodles just looks at him. You're just a Ben. Just let me have this, please, Jesuit. Toodles just patting him on the back. So I will return to the City of Ravens. Goodbye. Starts to walk away. And Toodles just goes, the tree on the left. And he looks at her the same way Xandria used to look at Ocarian. And as he walks up to the tree, he touches the tree first, just to see if it bites him. A portal opens, given it by Toodles, and he steps in. And he wakes up in the grove of the Kelpie next door.
Oh dear.
And before we go back to Kess, we're going to have a break. Because it's just after 9:30. I want to drink parched, I tell you.
Patched, need a
Don't know what
blue.
we're talking.
And then we're going to go back to Kess and see what's going on in front of the lookalike.
This is
Nothing.
dad or sibling or some variation.
Well,
of
seeing
brother.
as we've had to go see Lady Selena,
There's
I'm
a
thinking
good chance it's not that.
I've got.
I mean, you never know. You never know. We got a rainbow flag. You know what I mean? Loving this stuff. Loving it. So, break time. Bye. See you soon.
Bye. Go.
Comes. Right, it's just doing the animation. Our mics are still on. I don't care. I need to get Omar's done some more courses and stuff on anime. Like he's done like figurine animation now, so I'll get him today. Hello, welcome back to everything. My camera, I need someone just camera up. Stupid thing. Well, insta focus. Right, welcome back. Just before the break, Sean wasn't here. Just after the break, Sean's here.
Magic.
That's what you missed. You just missed Sean not being here.
You finished meditating.
Yeah. Sapphire bolts up, just starts punching trees. Ruby goes mental. So
No, that was it. That was the cue just before the break. Like Sapphire, he's from Vi. I'm from Viconia, bitch.
I think you'll find. Right, so thanks for sticking with us. If you have stuck with us, if you haven't, well, great.
They're not here.
You're not here to win. That's okay. Let me just piss about.
Those people
this.
I do not say anything to those people because I killed.
Oh my god. Right. So, Kesrion has woken up in a lock. Incredibly historically accurate. And the rest of the party are in the Copper Forest. They've had a conversation with Lord Romerick at the House of Falcons regarding Corbin Astaroth's arrest / murder, death, kill, some demons. Xandru informed them that the demons are not just here. Little bastards are everywhere. Sapphire has stopped meditating and is now wide-eyed, checking everywhere for the mimics so they don't rip his eyes out.
Sapphire wakes up every morning. The mimic!
Just these lot pranking you with mirrors. Kesrion, after walking around the when you signed up 70 sessions ago, D&D, it's great.
Love D&D. No, not like this.
All them battle maps and action surges. You made it way through this watery town, beneath the surface of the lock. You've gone round, you've got to this castle. You've been escorted into the castle by Bry, the merfolk. You're in there, you've seen all the Leviathan of this like purple-esque violet creature, serpentine creature with bright purple eyes as a clear symbol of whatever organisation lives in this castle. But go into the main quarters of Selena, Lady of the Lock. You enter the room, and before you, as described before the break, you see a very, very... you see a person that looks a lot like you. When you first saw them, you almost thought it was a reflection, but seeing those differences, you are aware that you are not dreaming of your reflection. It is indeed a real person. They are in long, layered silver robes. You are in your silver tunic. The last interaction you had with them was them shedding a single tear at your presence and saying your name. And we will go back to you there.
I don't understand.
I know, but there's a lot to explain. I honestly didn't think I'd ever see you again, but you were small. Bry said you weren't wounded or anything. Are you hungry, maybe? Or thirsty?
I've only just eaten this morning. What's going on? I was supposed to be traveling to Ravenholm, and
yes, the magic. You answered my song, but not. We didn't expect it. There was. You were in the you were. Excuse me. You were in the paths of light that the druids used to travel. There was a negative energy there, like death, but different. It broke the light, and well, when I sang, I heard your voice sing back, and I reached out, and I think it was more accident than well, I think it was an accident, but you answered my song, and here you are. Well, here you are.
I'm not, and forgive me for speaking plainly, but I'm not going to pretend that makes any more sense than what I knew before I came through that door.
That is entirely fair. Would you like to sit and speak, or?
Yes.
And they kind of get a bit more flustered, sort of looking around, and they realise that's not really like chairs to sit on. As you saw before, she was knelt before the table, and she takes her position again and just gestures across. Please.
Settle down, kind of legs in a basket.
The table is only a couple of feet wide, and being in this proximity now, it is. I mean, even for yourself, who's quite, whatever's in front of you is what you deal with. It's still really uncanny, like the resemblance, and you both share a moment where you tilt your head a little bit, just like not intentionally, but kind of mimic each other for a split second of what this is weird. even for her, she has the same. Whoa. There you are, Peter. Well, well, obviously you don't know who I am, but
I'm presuming you're the lady, Selena.
It's not. Yes, I am Selena. Yes. That's. I currently take the role of the lady of the lock. It's a story that some of the gnomes tell, but we like stories. Well, the whole thing is about stories. It kind of looks at you looking for a reaction, and there's clearly nothing.
It's kind of like a that sort of nodding along, but you're gonna have to give me something to work with.
Do you?
But like not a look to Eddie as in a like having a conversation with someone who's wearing your face and is like, hey you remember?
No, nothing. Maybe I got the wrong one.
I've pretended I've not been kidnapped from hearing a song.
Selena's literally like, I wouldn't. If I got the lion, that'd have been definitely some buttons pushed. Do you know the word Nerekai?
Eddie, can I roll something to know if I have
Give me a history check, and the DC motherfucking high.
I'm just gonna say no. But you know what? We'll roll because we right. Nah. If we don't.
We'll roll because it's nice. Like, yeah. Fuck this game.
We're
They'll
running
have
with a
3
negative to start
rerolls.
with. If it is a high one, trust me, Mel. We're gonna need a D30 and some luck to make a high roll with my intelligence level.
So we will say.
We will say. Just a confused head shake. But I will write that down after inquiring after the spelling. N-E-R-A-K-I, and there's an accent above the A. Cool. That I ignore because the accent above the A to me is a Yorkshire accent. But yeah. Selena then points to the iconography, like in the forestry and stuff, and
now she's pointing at the trees that give it that grove effect. You can see in between the tree trunks there is a leviathan. Nerekai is the house, and she quickly adjusts, finishing the original word. The house is patron. It's Nerekai witnesses stories ends. We're there for the house is there for the final chapters. So it's what our sirens do. They call folk here to live out their final chapters of more simpler stories ends. No, just they have a gentle shaker there, and like mimicking your shake, like.
There weren't a lot of leviathans in the desert.
The desert. We'd heard you were in the desert. In Surut, the lands of Surut. There's a small smile on her face. We got somewhat right. How was it? Stupid question.
Hot, not a lot of water. Lot of sand.
There's Malika resides there, and Selena kind of leans forward, like,
She's the Archfey of Summer.
yeah, that's fascinating. My apologies. You had friends in the pathways. They couldn't hear my like before. It was an accident. I didn't mean to catch you. I've been singing for so long now. I didn't mean to. Your friends, they weren't hurt in the pathways. The song wouldn't have cast them out. They would have got to where they went. They knows nothing about you, Catboy. Do you know where they were going?
We were going to what remained of the Copper Forest.
There's a tilt of the head.
In Ravenholm, the seat of the Archfey of Autumn.
You've been to the Copper Forest?
I mean, there's not a lot left of it, but
Why? What happened?
oh, huge civil war. Humans killed most of a good chunk of demons everywhere.
Why would you? What? Why? Is there a problem with the demons?
At this point, Kit's that is his genuine reaction. Just like,
Do you have?
It's like slightly hysterical laughter, just kind of like bubbles out. Is there a problem with the demons? Depends.
I mean, I'm not sure problem is actually the word I'd use in this instance.
Do you have a problem with demons? Just in general, just a curiosity. And they sit back.
Only when they're trying to wipe out large swathes of people, which sadly is kind of what we're dealing with at the moment.
Huh.
We travelled with an Oni for a while. He was jovial enough, but it's not really the same.
I can imagine. Well,
there's a small issue. Do you know much about Ravenholm?
no, I do not.
They had a big scary wall, like a really big wall, to keep all these demons out.
I know of the Raven Wall. Yes.
You know the big yeah, it's gone. It's gone. Just there's all the demons.
I thought the stories say it's the soul of dragons and impenetrable. And
Soul Dragon's gone.
the soul.
Dragon.
How do you lose a soul? And humans can't be trusted with anything. Yeah,
Will
those dirty humans.
he's like, yeah, yes. Dragon didn't want to be in the wall.
But it's understandable.
So we let it out.
Oh, I see. So that's
It
how
took out a fair chunk of the demons.
It's a dragon.
But the demons kept coming. This is not important at all. Well, it's important, but it's not. It's not important to whatever this is.
Well, I kind of monologued this many times, but I never really thought I'd see you again. So I'm a little bit. I'm a bit. I can understand. To say I'm overwhelmed is. Well, I don't want to kettle and pot, as the Towans say, but. Sorry, but I'm at the same time not.
I don't know what you're sorry about.
Pulling you away from your friends.
Okay.
Without your permission. I'd hoped you'd have returned the song of your own choice rather than.
I'm gonna be honest, I don't know what you mean with when you keep talk. Is it like I don't understand what you mean when you keep talking about a song.
I'm a siren and you're a Kelpie and the most you've never sung before. I don't mean round a fire. I mean you've never.
No.
Well, I'll explain a lot. How were there no sirens in the
desert?
Oh, yeah, I see.
Not a lot of water, not a lot of sirens. Only had the barest inkling that I was a Kelpie. Gotta be honest, I don't think my sister's worked it out yet.
Your sister?
Yeah.
Are they a Kelpie as well?
Well, I would imagine that if she was a Kelpie, she'd probably have worked out by now.
Well, you can't sing, so you claim. So I'd have said the same about you working it out, so maybe.
But if I had been raised by a family of Kelpies, I would imagine that maybe possibly some of that information would have trickled down. No, she's a summer fae.
Do their eyes burn with fire? Same way the stories say?
Depends on how much you pissed her off that day, but yeah.
Fascinating. Well, I didn't know you had.
Family that
Well-
I've spent the last
Well, there's a difference
100 or
between.
so years with.
I spent hundreds of years with many of folk. I wouldn't call them family. So, I apologise for taking you from your family.
What? Why am I here?
Years ago, hundreds of years ago, as we know to be, there was an attack on this very castle when the loch was dry. Creatures of the forest, with a taste for fair blood, took it upon themselves to hunt, and they came through the town. You awoke in, and the castle grounds itself, and many of the house of Narakai were slain that day. It was overwhelming. It went beyond the hunt. The brutality was unnecessary. But some of us managed to be saved, for we were babes in arms, and we were taken away into the forests or cast to rivers that led away from the highlands and the loch. And Selena stares at you a bit more intently. Rivers we knew not where they would end. When I was of an age, I was taught how to sing and how to call to those that I wished to bring to some humans call it hunting grounds, and then the first call that I remember answering brought me here to this grove of Kelpie and other water fae. It happens every. I don't know the measurement of time we use to gather here, but there are those that are taught to sing and those that are taught to listen, and we come together when we can. I managed to. Well, I thought I'd managed to sing further and across realms and planes in hope that a friend of mine would call or return the call. But they did not. And eventually I was giving up hope. We have the gathering again of the Kelpie and the water fae, and Bry encouraged me to sing as loudly as I could, and I managed to call that friend home. And now they sit before me confused and looking at me as a stranger, and I don't know what else I expected, but I am happy you're here, and I'm unhappy I don't know how to make you feel comfortable being whisked away from your family.
If it makes you feel better, this is not the first time this has happened, and this is more uncomfortable in a social setting than because it's in the midst of a terrible battle that it looks like we're losing. So that's better.
Yay.
I'm sorry, I'm not particularly gifted when it comes to
this. And she just gestures.
Yeah. Words are important. I'm not good at confidently choosing the right ones, I don't feel.
Would you like us to reach out to your family and guide them here?
Oh, they super can't breathe under. No, that would be real bad.
Oh. There are elements of the castle they can stay in if the air does not run out. It is. We've had guests in the past from on land. But again, I don't want to cause any more distress than I already have. I would assume they're looking for you as passionately as I did.
It would possibly be a good idea. They're sometimes able to scry from where they would be with the Jesuit, but I'm not sure how well it would work to hear.
If your sister is, as you say, a summer fair, or anyone in your family of fair, if you sing Gesfion, they will hear, and I can bring them here. It's gravy time.
Is that the song?
Somebody just followed.
This must be such a disappointment for you. I apologize.
No, not at all. It's if you've never been shown, how would you know? We could. This sounds awfully daft. I could sing with you and call your family here.
I would appreciate that.
Okay. Well, if you say they need air, we can sing within the hall, and that way, if they hear you or hear us, at least they'll not have to hold their breath immediately.
Before we do, I'm not the sharpest, but I do understand that you were possibly expecting a better response from bringing me here.
I think I was expecting a memory and not a reality. And that is, well, when one gives up on and their hope, I didn't know how to react when you returned the song. So I am sorry again for taking you from your family without your permission. It wasn't my intention.
There was no harm meant, and hopefully this will peter out with no harm caused. Kelpies just don't all look alike, do they?
Only if they're of a similar bloodline.
Yeah. I think I've heard you call before,
Really?
but you don't always. It wasn't a song.
It's yeah.
Drea had been.
Is Drea family?
Xandria was the sister I was raised with. She had taken a particularly temperamental turn one day, and I'd had to cast a ritual to try and assuage some of her fears, and afterwards I thought I'd heard someone, but we had a job to do, and there were more pressing things, and so I packed that away, and it wasn't pertinent to the duty we had at hand. And while I know that there would have been nothing that I could do about it then, I apologise if it was you calling and I chose not to hear.
It's fine. It is honestly it's fine. Shall we? And Selena like half stands waiting for you to like awkwardly sort of.
Yes, thank you.
She goes to like put her arm out for you to link in as if to walk away, and kind of like then puts her arm back down by her side. Just down the stairs. You must have passed the hall with Briar. And then they start walking, and they kind of walk. They don't walk.
Well, at least we know the social awkwardness.
Yeah. Get it from your great grand Kelpie.
Yep. Guess I've got all these limbs that they attach to me. Oh my god, please stop me.
Going down the stairs, you go back to the hall where it is this very large air bubble in this grand hall. Bry is sat at a desk. You see the green dress just trailing out to the side, and is arranging rocks from the looks of it. Just these small rocks on this table. It does lead back to a large seat at the back that is very grand. There's a few stairs. It is raised, and you can see this presenting hall, as it were. Well, all there is to do now is sing. If I begin, and when I say just mimic me, even if it's, trust me, even if it's feels like a mocking or a jest, just try to mimic me.
I'll give it a shot.
Okay. See, clears her throat, and I won't be trying to impersonate a siren singing, because I will be shot. However, Selena kind of adjusts herself, and there's as much effort into her relaxing and getting ready as you've seen Sapphire meditating, or yourself preparing for, exercise, or just sorting your swords out and such. And she kind of just looks towards the ceiling of this great hall, where you can see it's that you can see all the entire ceiling is an entirety of this Leviathan in artwork, like stonework into the ceiling, the purple shimmering, and it's got that, you know, that weird. If you stare at it long enough, it looks like it's moving, like a bit of a mirage going on. It's kind of got that going on, and she begins to sing, and it is, as you would expect a siren. It is high, but it is soft. It is alluring. It reaches out. It is a call, and she just raises her hand and gestures towards you, Kess. If you try to join in and sing, you'll have to do a performance check, or you can choose not to. It's up to you.
No, it's cool. I actually have this, so
29. Well, shit.
I'm gonna use my Kelpie, like little kelp dice. It's got a little bit of seaweed in it.
Going method.
That's a nat 20.
I mean, if Jesus is out there on a cloud, bless him. So, you at first kind of look at the floor and be like, this doesn't half feel like an Icarian trick. And you look at Lady Selena, see her stance, and you kind of adjust yourself and mimic the stance. And just, I mean, you've grown up with, you know, in the desert, like singing and dancing and, you know, just enjoying your existence down there, living each day, burning the candle at both ends and in the middle. It's kind of the way it happens.
I mean, apparently I've got musical proficiency and a lyre, so clearly I can.
That's
I've
because
heard
you're a
song.
Kelpie.
Yeah, that too. I
And Monster Hunter, if you look at the
there's
overlay now, people.
There's
70
all sorts
sessions in.
of stuff that are on that character sheet that nobody's ever looked at.
I can fly. And
Don't mention the bow.
you, as soon as you take a breath and begin to mimic, doesn't take long at all, and you're like, oh, okay, and you're just letting it out. It's more like a long, high-pitched, perfect-pitched roar. Like, it just flows from deep within and seems to complement the siren song of Selena. And you can't see the song like reaching to the ceiling and causing the Leviathan to shift and move on the ceiling, but you know it's happening, and it's almost like being able to reach out and touch something you know is invisible. You can't see it, but you know it's there, and it feels comfortable, as if you've done this every day of your life. Ari and Xandria, both of you give me wisdom saving throws, please.
Oi.
As you were lured to your death.
Yep.
And Kess, who are you reaching out to more potently? Xandria, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's pass
Harry's
the heck
still on
out,
his
shall
shit
we?
list a wee bit, so.
Ari's getting it
Okay.
because of the side effects. Splashback.
Wee bit when he rolls a 2.
Oh, shit. What did you get, Xandria?
24.
Cool. So,
Face niggering occurs.
Wisdom.
as you are,
0.
take your amulet off and do a con save. As you as you are all like retiring back to the cabin, and you've had your conversation with Romerick and stuff, you kind of just all settling down. Sapphire keeps like, these little bastards, and you begin to rest, and you're all just about to nod off. And Ari, you bolt upright, and you're looking around the place, and you can't help feel but a little bit. Yeah, maybe I should go over to and you're out.
That's not right. When he goes to the Feywilds for the first time,
I mean,
he
it's
passes the heck
definitely
out.
on point with Harry.
That's why I didn't bother re-rolling. I was like, you know what?
It's on point.
It's canon now.
Yeah.
The dice have decided. Xandria, you look at Harry, and you see that look in Harry's eyes of, don't you fucking dare. And then Harry just goes, poof, don't fall asleep, passes out. And you can hear the song. And you're looking around and you're incredibly aware of it. It doesn't affect you how it would, obviously, other folk, even though Harry's got a bit of faith in him. But you're looking around and you're like, there is no way there is a siren calling here. Like, even though the magical like extension of the cabin for you all to have somewhere to sleep, it just doesn't make sense. And you're like, maybe it's just one of the Copper Forest lot. And then you recognise another voice within the song. And it is two songs that are calling out to, well, what seemed Harry and yourself. And you recognise one of them as Kess don't sing like that, but you know it's Kess. It's like when they pull out the best karaoke they've ever done and you're like, oh shit.
Yeah, you can sing.
You've been singing the wrong song all these years.
Yeah.
But yeah, and you recognise, and again, aware that it is a siren song and it is a song of calling. There are no words, you just recognise it as a song of calling, but you are very aware with your 20 fuck you DM dice roll that Kesfion is a siren singing to you.
So Xandria will proceed to get up and sort of, she looks at Ari and then looks at where Ruby and Sapphire are, and then kind of like has a moment where she kind of stands there weighing her options up and then goes,
Ruby and Sapphire,
goes,
you're still aware, by the way. Sorry, Xandria.
yeah, so she goes, she looks at them and goes, Kesfion's calling. Yes, you heard exactly what I said. Kesfion is calling.
Selena's not going to want anything to do with it. She's actually just, all you leave.
My bad.
Will not be...
My bad.
I think it was actually someone else.
Wrong number.
Wrong number. You won't be able to hear
I was
it.
looking for a dwarf. Any of you dwarfs? No? Oh, okay.
No, none of us are dwarves.
You know what? I am far
Looking for your
past
sister.
questioning this. How do we go there?
First things first, and then she goes over to where Ari is and just kind of picks Ari up.
Ari is out cold at this moment in time.
Just over the shoulder.
Yeah, tongue hanging out.
Is that supposed to... Right, hold on. Is this related to Kess calling?
What, Ari passing out? Probably. He doesn't do... Even though we have discovered this evening that he does indeed have a little bit of fear in him, he still has a very strong reaction to Fey magic. And to be fair, the first time he did come into the Copper Forest, he did pass out. So
delicate.
He is very much a delicate flower. As to how we answer the call, I'm not entirely certain. I've never exactly been called by song before, so it's new to me. And then she just kind of like closes her eyes for a second, and in her head, she just kind of says, "I hear you, Kesfion. What do I need to do?"
So a couple of things happen. Kess. It's as if Xandria's walked in the room rather than hearing those words. Like, you continue the song, but like if you're in the tent and Xandria walks in, you know it's Xandria, not your dad, type thing. That's how it feels. Xandria, when you close your eyes, you see Toodles stood next to the ash and oak tree intertwined, and a large pond around the two trees that are intertwined. But you have no way of responding, Kess, other than continuing your song.
So, once Xandria sees that, she will open her eyes. Okay, I think I have an idea. We need to go outside and we need to go to the ashen tree.
Trees again, okay?
Off
What's wrong with
Xandria
trees?
goes.
My last trip through the tree didn't go great, Ruby. Nothing to do with trees, nothing to do with you. Just a little bit apprehensive, that's all.
So, do you leave the cabin,
Yeah.
Xandria? As you open the cabin, you see Toodles stood tall their copper robes, long and flowing, a slight breeze around them, which you're pretty sure Toodles is giving a bit of effect to herself.
She's got that fan.
Yeah, just a red
Got a
cap
smoke
under the
machine
robe
going
line.
as well.
Yeah. Red caps with
Elite
flares.
lore.
But outside, like just in front of where Toodles is standing and round the oak and ash tree that are entwined, there is a very large, good 10-15 foot radius pond. Was not there before.
That better be temporary. A lot of these trees don't like getting their toes wet. They'll get flooded.
Well, I don't know what to say to that, Ruby. However, Azandria, I believe there is a request of your presence. And Toodles smiles, bright red fur on her cheeks, and just gestures at the pond.
I believe you may be correct, Jesuit. It seems my brother is calling for us.
As you approach the pond, you can see stone steps from the beneath the surface, starting at the edge of the pond, going deeper and deeper. You cannot see the bottom of this pond. There's the stone steps going down deeper into it.
So the stone steps, like the water hasn't parted like Moses in the Red Sea, has it? It's
No, you are walking into the water. Yeah.
So
yeah,
Xandria gets to the edge, looks
I ain't
at
giving
the
you
stone
no
steps.
Moses complex.
Xandria stands at the edge of the pond, looks at the stone steps, looks back up, looks back at the stone steps. Kesvion. I can't swim, nor can I breathe underwater.
Sapphire's ears have flattened.
Kes, you smile reflexively.
I've got two suggestions, Adria. One you're gonna like, one you're not. The one that you're not gonna like is that
Then why are you suggesting it?
Genius.
we just have to go straight in.
I
Right? The one that you are gonna like means Ari has to go straight in, which means you can just chuck him in. You could chuck him in first, see what happens. I'll go in
To an
and fish him
unconscious
out
human underwater. Who knows?
I'll go in and fish him out if it don't work.
If we tie a rope to Ari before we throw them in, we've got an anchor point where people can just pull their way out, right?
you know, I'm
Toodles
gonna go
kind of interjects. I could wake Harry if you want.
No,
I mean,
just leave him.
Okay.
No,
okay.
he'll be more buoyant if you
It'll-
wake him.
If he reacts badly to the magic, he'll only get sick again when we get there.
What if he dies? No reaction? Okay, carry on.
No, I've got a spell for that.
I'm gonna have it on good faith that Caspian and the Water Fae have done something to this that means we are probably not in any immediate danger, and she just starts going down. She's just like, I'm just gonna get it over with. I'm just going. She just carries Ari down in her arms. just
1,000,
let's go.
2,000,
If I'm going
3,000.
down, you're going down with me, Ari.
All right, keep it clean. So as you start walking,
Pass the water.
oh Jesus! As you start walking down the stairs, you don't miss a step. You don't feel unbalanced. You don't feel like it's slippery, even though it's beneath the pond water. You keep going. It is cold. You keep going and going, and when you get to about your neck, and Harry's well under, you just give him a little shake. Now he's like. But Harry doesn't seem to be breathing in the water. There's no bubbles. There's no nothing. You take a couple more steps, and you step into the darkness of the pond. Sapphire and Ruby, you see both Ari and Xandria disappear. As soon as they go beneath the water, gone.
Ruby looks at Sapphire, shrugs, and descends.
Oh, I honestly thought you were like, we'll catch some more for making a evidentiary pie.
Sapphire watches until like she's completely under the water. It's just like
Toodles puts her hand on you, Sapphire, once Ruby's disappeared. So there's just you and Toodles left there. Please be careful.
okay.
I too will send folk to Veer. Just know that.
He like perks up a bit because his ears going back up.
Xandria informed us.
Thank you. Thank you. I think that's going to turn into a bit of a battleground soon as well. So it's appreciated. I'm going to go after them. If they don't have me there to make things worse, what are they going to do? And he kind of laughs slightly, and then, not waiting for a reply, just turns to like full on monk speed dives in.
Cannibal.
Swan into the cannon. As you Toodles pissed. You all of you, Barkess obviously, feel the coldness of the water, the darkness. The darkness around you is because you're so deep underwater rather than magical darkness. If you could see in the dark, great. You see more darkness beneath the water.
Hey, we're a pretty good party. We don't pull that nonsense.
That's
It's
all
like,
right,
oh, dark vision.
Cool. You can see the Tarask. You all appear
I do have dark vision.
in a you do now. You didn't before. So
Celestial.
you all appear in what looks like a waiting room. Like you've come down a couple of steps. When you turn around, there's no more than 2 or 3 steps, and you've kind of walked down them. You're not wet. You're still holding Harry, unless you immediately go and launch him into the fire.
Nah, I'm still...
There are several stone barrel-shaped stone stools in this waiting area. It's spacious enough. Stood in the doorway, there is a merfolk with dark green hair, golden eyes, green scales going all the way down. Looks very much like Bry, as described before. Hi, I'm Bry, a friend of Selena, Lady of the Lock, and friend of, well, hopefully a friend of Kesvion. They're currently singing at the moment. If you want to come along, I believe it was for your benefit.
Yes, thank you. That would be most appreciated. Bry, was it?
Yes. Does your friend need help? Pointing at Harry.
He will be fine. He will simply wake up when it's due time. It's best just to leave him whilst he's resting.
Resting. I mean, they are resting well.
He's not dying.
If he's looking a bit doubtful at that, Ruby will be like, he's a bit delicate to the Fey magic sometimes. I think the ball was a bit strong.
That is understandable. Well, any help you need, just ask. I kind of, this way. And they swim. Well, they walk, because they've got their long green dress. They walk you through, and as you step through the doorway and a short hallway, you enter this grand hall. And as before, it is where people would come from all over the land to stand before the Lord and Lady or the Baron or whatever of the particular area. And can we have lower taxes? Sort of moments. No, not even in Fantasyland. So, as you come out and you see this grand thing, and you like all the iconography and all this, and this purple violet Leviathan all over the ceiling and stuff, and all the decoratives going on, and the flags all the way down each stone column going down, you see maybe 50 feet from you, staring up at this, and you now see the sculpted artwork of this Leviathan in the ceiling. You see 2 Kesvions. Ish, maybe, possibly. Maybe getting a closer look. One in a silver tunic, a long ponytail tied back, some ivory green trim, and the other one in long layered hooded moonlight, both in moonlight silver, in robes, tunic and robe. And they are singing. Ruby and Sapphire, you resist the call, but feel like you could almost nod off the more you listen to it, and then shake it off, and it's beautiful. I didn't know a Kess could sing, or either of the Kesses could sing. And you, but then again, both of you, after a few moments, feel the nod, but you're aware of it now, and you kind of fall into the pattern. Zandria, you're just like, yeah, cool.
Buzz gently,
yeah. But even for yourself, being in its raw presence, the song that is pouring out from the 2 folk in front of you is perfect harmony. And being a fair creature, there are obviously creatures of the desert that also use song as their special fee power. Harry, you dreaming of, that night when the dice rolled 6? I mean,
Well, was it a D20 or a D6? Because that depends how good a dream it is.
Harry's that good, it was a D4.
That's how he knows he's dreaming.
3 to 1. You're in.
So Xandria kind of very gently just sets Ari on the floor, just like, okay. And she's sleeping beauty to his sleep. We'll wake him up in a minute. And then she starts heading towards the Kesvion and the Kesvion. Just to get closer. Rather than like just shouting across the hall.
Similar to what Kess experienced with that, like on the first look is uncanny, but as you approach, like you grew up with Kess, you can see and acknowledge.
One of them has facial tattoos reminiscent of your own.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't know Selena's not.
You didn't mention them.
You
so
did mention yours.
It's
I know
in my
you've got.
character art that's been
Don't give me
for
that. I
70
sent you it.
sessions.
The one with facial tattoos is Kess.
So once Xandria is pretty much at Care, like towards near enough Care, she will sort of pick up a little bit of speed, and then just immediately fling herself around him and give him like the tightest of hugs.
You are aware of this, Kess.
Ruby has just basically decided to just go with it. She's just standing where she was, sort of like swaying sleepily and vaguely attempting to hum along with it. Like, it's Kess doing it, it's not gonna hurt. I might as well just not fight it.
As Xandria embraces Kess, both stop the song.
I feel
Selena,
like that would have somewhat ruined breathing control and
went from siren song to Barry White in seconds. Selena steps
raise
back.
the diaphragm.
Selena steps back to give space and just stands there with her hands in front of her.
You're here. Oh, Hades.
It's fine.
Hades gone.
I'm fine. I'm just refocusing. You carry on. You carry on. Method. Get in the moment.
Sorry. Yes, of course I'm here. You called, and I'll always come. No, I wasn't aware that you could sing.
I wasn't aware either. Drea, this is Selena.
Selena will now take a couple of steps forward. Greetings. You must be Xandria. Kesvion spoke a lot about you.
Yes, it's lovely to meet you, Lady Selena.
And your other? Is this your other family that you were talking about?
These are the people I've been traveling with. Drea was the one I was raised alongside.
I can see the
Leon. I'm gonna skip Leon in it. Thanks, Sean.
Sapphire's meditating again.
Yep.
It's just having a wee cat nap. The blonde druid would be Ruby.
Ruby sort of like blinking in the waking up, just sort of. What?
Hello, Ruby. Towan, I see.
We had been following her tree stride when we parted ways. We had been visiting her family in the Highlands. The large Leonin is Sapphire Waters.
Hello, Sapphire Waters.
Of Viconia by way of Bay. And the heap on the ground is Aristotle Rycroft of Ravenholm, House of the Eagles.
Wow, A lengthy title.
Yep.
Would you like him waking up?
No. It's better when he's quiet.
We probably should, though. He doesn't take to Fey magics particularly well.
How did he
All
hear
the
it?
more... Yes, all the more funnier now that we have discovered that he does indeed have a little bit of fate in him, brother.
Oh.
That will explain why he heard.
You'd have liked that, Kess. She literally gives him a drink and goes, either you're Fey or you'll die.
It was
And
wonderful.
he still drank it.
I mean, Ari will. Yeah.
Given loads of shit last time I drank something I shouldn't have.
Yes, but you were given something by someone we didn't know. This was the Jesuit.
Yeah, I would have taken stuff from Toodles too. To be fair, Toodles is good.
Toodles?
I think we've summarised that the Fey thing was probably around about his grandfather's time, if not a little bit earlier.
What did you say his name was?
Aristotle Rycroft of the House of the Eagles.
Rycroft.
Of the Wall.
His grandfather was
Right.
First Eagle.
Rycroft just sounds familiar, but none of the rest.
Probably because he gets around.
Do you not like Aristotle?
You don't want to open
Oh,
that.
Ruby.
It's a lot to unpack.
As Cass does that, Ruby just gives like this evil grin. Like full cleric of trickery grin.
We stretch the term like it depends on the day.
They have this whole thing going on
There's
where they hate
no
each other,
thing.
but they.
We don't. We're okay.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
awake or not? Caspian said yes, Andrea said no.
Kess
I
will have
guess
gone
we can-
over and been like, "Oh no, we'll need to wake Ari. Here's a
Just
Kick, kick,
sharp
kick.
kick.
After
like,
a couple
by
of
the shoulder, just I kind of no slap, just like just a
No,
shake.
no, Selena slapping. Just joining in.
That's Selena, she can join in.
Harry wakes up. Where's my face?
It's a good pastime.
So, Harry, you are woken up by your bullying friends. Hello, Aristotle.
Hi.
I'm Selena, not Caspian.
What?
But like, are you siblings or like, what's the deal here? Because you two are siblings, but I know different.
Caspian is an old friend.
that is the face that gets like.
Right.
I really.
Well, you have family, and I didn't want to assume.
It's not a finite resource.
It's
I spent less than 24 hours in Tone Highlands, and I left with a family tartan.
well, the
There's
Highlanders
one more
are.
sister at this
Ruby,
point.
Ruby gets a little like light bulb, and she just, while you're still talking, just takes your hand and ties the green ribbon, like the remaining ribbon from the sandwich bags around.
Oh, you've been carried. Where the fuck is Kess?
Yeah, so everyone is now wearing the relevant coloured ribbon that we were gifted.
The Highlanders are.
It's a bit of a collection I seem to have going.
Then yes,
The more the merrier.
Sapphire Waters, we are siblings.
Oh, thank God, somebody else can take him.
Like, the eye roll would probably deserve a constitution check.
Not 20. Ah, shit.
It's oh yes, you're correct. I am the problem sibling out of the two of us.
Very much the problem. Yes.
Well, rather than just take Kesvion, which I apologise for, by the way. It was not my intention to take him from your sides. It was accidental. Kesvion answered my song as similar to yourselves, but Kesvion did it by reaction rather than deliberate.
It's quite alright, Lady Selena.
Please, just Selena. The lady part is for the stories.
I apologise, Selena, but once we figured out where Kesvion was, and I could see that he was in no danger.
It was you that spied upon the lock.
It was.
I'd have done the
John
same.
had gone missing. We were looking for him.
Yes, Sapphire Waters. I would have done exactly the same.
Once I saw that he wasn't in any danger, I didn't need to hasten here to save him from something bad. I could see that he was quite content.
We were still trying, just,
Not a
running
taste.
straight out the door. Well, except for Harry, who thought he'd be grabbed.
Are you okay, Aristotle, Rycroft, of
Yeah.
House of Eagles?
Fine.
What?
Right.
I just out of curiosity, what was your grandfather called?
Sebastian.
So Sebastian Rycroft, yes.
Yes. Why?
Just the curiosity. I thought I recognised the name Rycroft, so just asking.
God, he's been here as well. He just like gets up, like dusts himself off, like fixes his hair.
With a single just like finger
Ew.
run, just like boom, it's all perfect. Someone cracks a Diet Coke open somewhere.
I can't drink my Pepsi now. Because I refuse to give him that satisfaction.
just get it off stream. Well, seeing as you're all here, and I would very much like to just spend some time with you all. If that was, I don't know what's. If you're in a rush, I know Cassian told me about the demons and it's not going overly well in Ravenholm, but
It's all a bit shit.
I'd very much like to
Hasn't it
just
always been Ravenholm?
share a meal or such.
We have time to spare. We have managed to spare enough time to go and visit everyone else that we care about. And it seems like you have been calling for Kes for some time, so I think it is only fair that you spend some time with him.
That's
Is this... Ari, I heard you talk about a door once. Is that... When you sing, does it give you a... Like, when you were singing for us, we went outside the cabin and there was a pond there.
It's like, no, I did that one time. Don't know
No,
how it works.
she's asking Selena, basically, in Ruby's babbly
was this
roundabout
you?
way, is has Selena been appearing doors in front of you?
it's not really how it works. The pond was actually a gift from the Jesuit. They too heard myself and Kesvion singing and reached out to us and asked if they could intervene with such an action. And who was I to deny the Jesuit of Autumn?
It is her way.
She's a good egg.
Well, Kesvion tells me you can't breathe underwater, so, but, no judgment here.
I could be a fish for a while.
Well, how long's a while?
2 hours.
If we can avoid water,
Maybe
happy.
we stay within the bubbles, and I can arrange. Bry is exceptional at creating the pockets of air for guests and such. So I would stay around the castle, though it's harder to do out in the town. But yes, well, yes. Let's. I'll arrange a grand feast for 7 or 8 of us.
Oh, you needn't put yourself out for us, especially because the breakfast provided for us was provided by a halfling mother.
I understand.
Please don't
like
go to any more
perhaps.
effort than what you would want to yourself.
It's
But to answer your
fine.
question, I could be a fish for 4 hours and I could do it twice.
That's very specific, Ruby. Thank you. But I think it's safer to keep you as your lovely self rather than a fish for 4 hours twice.
I've been a fish yet, I still might try it.
Okay. Do it again in the castle grounds. There are still the local wildlife that may eat you. Okay. Well, Bri starts walking over. And before we start arranging festivities and what you plan to do around the castle and what we want to do going forwards, etc., we're going to call it there. Session done. 70 done.
70.5.
70.5 done. My 2-year-old
We did
finally let
it.
me play D&D. Right, well, folks, that was brilliant. I really enjoyed that. A quick thank you to the players, as always. When you're playing tabletop games and one player's getting a bit more than the rest and stuff, it's so cool that you guys just don't care. You're just all in it together. You're all experiencing each other's stories, and it's brilliant. So thank you for patience. I hogged Luke from your game.
Almost like he's been sat there through a lot of our
For
backstory.
69 sessions going, fuck him. Yeah, that's alright, I don't need no max now. Sean, thanks for jumping back in and sitting
okay.
quietly.
That's all right. Like I said, I didn't want to miss it.
It's
I
not
enjoy
like
these
you
kind of
fucked
sessions.
off the other side of the world or anything, you know what I mean? But yeah, so you're a cracking bunch, and I really appreciate the way we play. I love it. I really love it. I can't wait for many, many more session 70.1, 0.2, 0.3, etc. So thanks for that. Viewers, thank you very much. A few new folks in there. Hope you enjoyed it. Some shit got done. That was cool. That was probably one of the most difficult NPCs I've ever had to portray. I enjoyed portraying Bri. But yeah, so thank you very much for tuning
The
in.
two of
and
you just
listening.
like awkwardly being awkward at each other to the point where chat got confused at one point. I was like, no, they're just playing the low charismas. It's fine.
So maybe these two should stop playing.
Well, yeah, thank you very much for watching. Please share, shout, tell your friends, etc., etc. All the likes, subscribes, follows. Follow the buttons underneath. What I did forget to shout out is we're doing a charity stream on the 30th for Jerry Green's dog rescue. There's a Just Giving. It's fine, don't worry about it. We'll be shouting about it more. There's a Just Giving button beneath the stream where there you go. Follow that. Jerry Green Rescue operates 4 centres across 3 countries, centres in Lincolnshire, Yorkshire, Nottinghamshire, work hard to rescue, care and rehome stray, abandoned and unwanted dogs, help them find new homes, etc. Myself, I'm heavy for those that don't know, really heavy. Mr. Valentine, which is Eduardo, and a few of our friends, we are going to be streaming around a table. 24 hours of D&D. Eddie's going to dungeon master it. It will still be set in Colossus in a land called Furia, which is Eddie's own making, and we threw in some stuff last year, but it's Eddie's little brainchild that we've added to. So yeah, 24 hours of it. I want 500 quid off you lot. Not each, it's fine. But I want to try and hit 500 quid.
I was about to say, you know.
Yeah. As the last couple of years, we've hit £6,000 raising money for specific charities. And this year we want to, just keep going and keep going. So if you can, donate. If you can't, find a mate that's got £5, take it off them and donate. So thank you very much. That's right, Jellysaurus. £6,000. Playing D&D. That's that. I'll shout out about it more. We're going to go now. I finished some concept designs, by the way, Heavy. Thank you.
It's all good. See you, Shauna.
Thank you, Leia. Oh, is the Shannon on?
Oh yeah, the Shana's on.
Leia Didi. I'll give you a message on ye olde WhatsApp, and we'll talk some nerdy stuff, and we'll go from there. Right, we're gonna raid Shana. He says with great confidence. Right, take care of yourselves. So is that right for now? Say good night, players.
Good night,
Night,
players.
players.
Bye bye.